Here we go again with the October Horror-thon. Tonight I got a crazy little movie that I found on my 10 original cult classics movie DVD collection here. Today we're going to talk about Maniac. Yeah, Maniac. Now, you may be thinking I'm going to be talking about the slasher movie from the 80s, regarded to be one of the best of the genre, as a matter of fact. I don't know if I've ever seen that. This is not that. This one is from 1934. This is the year after King Kong. This is made in the, dawn of Hollywood. And it's one of the first movies ever to be considered the worst movie ever made. Now, I guess it's kind of a horror, kind of a more of an exploitation kind of movie, really. The violence and the shocking nature of the story, as well as there's a bunch of nudity in there, which didn't see that coming from a movie from 1934. It's old. Yeah, old movies. Like the old Dracula and Frankenstein movies. Those are old horror movies made around the same time. And they have a certain kind of shock value. But that's not this. No. This one, the shock value is in what the characters actually do and what they say. The violence and the nudity that's in there. Okay, well, there's not that much nudity, but for 1934, to see nipples, you didn't see that every day. It's basically about this mad scientist guy that has kind of figured out a way to reanimate corpses, kind of like Herbert West Reanimator. And he has an assistant who's an ex-vaudeville actor who argues with the scientist and kills him and assumes his identity. Now, he has the power to resurrect the dead and to bring corpses back to life to do his bidding, or I don't know, man. And then there's a whole thing with cats, something to do with cats. I guess they've been experimenting on these cats and killing them and bringing them back to life or something. So yeah, there's all kinds of unethical experiments going on, and murder, conspiracy, and the corruption of youth, and this is nuts. Now, I think it's probably about 5 minutes into this, I realized that this is not going to be heavy on the story crafting. It's going to be more in-your-face stuff going on. If you can find this movie, I highly recommend watching this. But I'll tell you a few things about it, and possible spoilers herein. So you got your crazy Santa Claus-looking scientist, and his name is Dr. Meerschultz. And he's the guy that comes up with the formula or the secret to reanimating corpses and stuff. He actually has a heart in a jar, and he wants his assistant to go out and get a body that he can put it into so this heart can live again. And the assistant refuses, so the scientist freaks out on him, and the assistant ends up killing him and assuming his identity. He kills him, and then he starts immediately cutting his hair and styling, and puts on his lab coat and styling his beard and everything. And he's an actor, right? The thespian is a acting unit 2.0. And everybody in this movie has crazy hair. It seems I guess some of them because they're corpses or whatever. And the main scientist and the assistant who becomes the main scientist has this crazy almost Eraserhead looking hair. Gotta love that. Every once in a while, between scenes, they'll stick in a little scrolling text thing or a little text screen that tells you about a different type of mental disorder or illness. It describes, I guess it's to set up the scenes and what this character's going through. It's pretty heavy-handed, and it's we're just trying to tell you the dangers of mental illness. And no, you're not. You just want to show you want to show naked girls and somebody killing somebody else. And in 1934, I guess you had to make it a cautionary tale sort of thing. Okay. There's some like hallucination sequences in there. There's a lot of stuff to do with cats, and there's a crazy neighbor that like raises cats and rats. So he feeds the rats, the cats eat the rats, and when the cats die, the rats eat the cats. And he says, either way, the way that ends up, I get the fur. But there's rats and cats running all over the place. So they're using them for these experiments, and for whatever reason, we get a scene with the cat-rat farmer guy. And he's probably the best character in the movie, but he's only in that one scene. He is uncredited in the movie, and when I looked this up on Wikipedia, they don't even know who that guy was. I don't know, he had some funny lines anyway, and it's too bad, man. And then there's one point where the actor is impersonating the doctor, and somebody comes to him wanting help, like medical attention, and they bring this supposedly sick or crazy guy or something to him, and the doctor accidentally injects him with super adrenaline, and the guy just suddenly jumps up off the table, and just the best bad acting I think I've ever seen. There's another character that tries to conspire with the actor slash scientist. She discovers who he actually is, and she wants him to help her reanimate somebody or kill somebody. I don't know, it gets pretty confusing, and basically at the end there's like some nude ladies running around, and a couple of them are fighting. A couple of them bludgeon each other to death. We discover that the original scientist is bricked up in the basement wall, and the imposter goes completely insane, gets captured by the police, and the last scene is him in his cell, and he's hallucinating about the devil or something. Anyway, it's fucking weird, and it's a trip to see something so strange and exploitative coming out in 1934. It's something to see, alright. I guess overall I was pretty darn entertained, very perplexed by this movie, and therefore it was interesting. So I'd have to give Maniac 1934 a B-. A B- because like they packed so much crazy shit into 51 minutes. It's funny how bad this movie is, but it's also interesting how different this movie is from what I was expecting. Like, I was expecting some drama thing with maybe Bela Lugosi style. It's crazy. It's a Maniac. It's a B-. So until next time, folks, happy Halloween, and have a good one, everybody.